Hola amigos. You know, I speak to a lot of expat residents who reside here in Puerto Vallarta and have made their home here now. Even though it's not all sunshine and roses, it is pretty darn close. Having spoken with many of these expats who've settled here, I put together 7 key reasons why those who have settled here decided to move to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico in the first place, and why they're staying here for the long term. Stick around to the end of this video to learn the top reasons why expats say they moved here to this beautiful place, Puerto Vallarta. So let's check it out. Hey, if this is your first time on our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about life and living in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, please like this video and subscribe below. That really helps us out. And why would you do that? So you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So let's talk about the 7 key reasons why people are relocating to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Number 1, easy access. Puerto Vallarta is a destination with easy access from major cities in the US and Canada. The city hosts an expanding international airport offering direct flights to those countries too. If you don't want to fly, driving is easy also. Efficient modern highways connect Puerto Vallarta to the US, so getting back to your original country to see your family is not that difficult at all. Number 2, expats enjoy a wonderful climate here in Puerto Vallarta. The weather in Puerto Vallarta is warm year-round, although for some, the heat and humidity of summer months can be a little stifling. Generally though, the 2 months with the most humidity are August and September. November to April is the high season in Puerto Vallarta, when many snowbirds flock here to escape the winter weather back in the United States and Canada. This is also when Puerto Vallarta has the coolest weather, averaging in the mid-80s, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and the least humidity. If you need to be where it's warmer beside the ocean, then Puerto Vallarta is a great choice. Unlike in the US, coastal property in Mexico is still affordable by comparison. Being in the foothills of the Sierra Madre and covered by the Bay of Banderas means that Puerto Vallarta is protected from the Pacific storms coming up from the south. Number 3, expats are eating better food and paying less for it here. There's an abundance of fresh, wholesome food available in Mexico and in Puerto Vallarta in particular at very affordable prices. Fresh foods are available in many countries that don't have the climates to grow them all year long, but they come at a premium price in comparison to highly processed and non-fresh foods. In Mexico, you don't have to pay a lot to eat good, healthy food. Canada right now is a good example of food inflation, where we see there's been a huge increase in the number of people lining up at food banks. Not good. Number 4, expats can afford healthcare here in Mexico. Routine medical care, specialist services and medications cost a lot less in Mexico, and you don't have to compromise on the quality of healthcare you receive. Now, as the costs and limitations of the US and other countries' medical care systems are becoming apparent, people are looking abroad for the treatments and care that they need, and Mexico's geographical closeness is as attractive as its affordability. Puerto Vallarta is known as a medical destination for treatments such as plastic surgery and dental reconstruction, which is inexpensive in comparison to the US and Canada. General medical care in Mexico is second to none, and there are options for free medical care here too. Now, I do advise anyone thinking of coming to live here in Puerto Vallarta or anywhere in Mexico to explore getting private health insurance. It's top-notch and it's affordable compared to the US. So number 5, expats feel safe in Mexico. Now, as one popular online Mexican website stated, if what you're seeing about Mexico on your TV screen scares you and keeps you away now, your perceptions have been hijacked before you allowed yourself an opportunity to better understand this country and see what others here see. A country in transition, a country which is, by and large, less violent than those places where stones are so readily thrown from glass houses. Good quote. So, despite the anti-Mexico news flow, foreign residents living here report that they feel safe and settled in Mexico. The drug cartels are not targeting foreign residents or tourists. People who are not involved in the drug trade or other criminal activities have a very small chance of being affected by violent crime. Number 6, their home living costs are lower in Mexico. Now, the fees and taxes homeowners pay in places like the US, Canada, and Western Europe have climbed steadily over the last decades, to the point where these are now a significant burden on the population of those countries. The rise in housing and community taxes have outstripped inflation, and maintenance costs are steep. This is putting a lot of pressure on people with fixed incomes or with wages that are failing to keep up with price rises. To summarize it, home ownership is becoming expensive and now almost an unreachable goal. Home ownership for many people up north is way out of reach. But here in Puerto Vallarta, despite real estate price increases post-COVID, real estate is a lot more affordable here in Puerto Vallarta compared to the US and Canada. By the way, just as a side note, here the market right now has definitely returned to what we call a normal market, and prices have definitely stabilized. With the surge of work from home capability, it's also very practical if you want to enjoy owning your home instead of renting an apartment. In Mexico, homeowners enjoy low property taxes as well as lower maintenance costs due to lower material prices and labor fees for house maintenance services. And lastly, number 7, the key reason why people are relocating to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and closely related to the number 6 reason I just mentioned, is that they're enjoying a better quality of life. Everyone is aware that the cost of living is rising across most of the world, especially in the US and Canada. Homes, food, and utilities have skyrocketed. Taxes are rising and incomes are falling when compared to real inflation. This, on top of the political divisions in both countries and in others around the world, have caused many people to be very dissatisfied with the direction of their home country, and so made the decision to move to Mexico for a better quality of life and perhaps, to some, a more sane environment. Retirees on fixed incomes are particularly affected by the rising cost of living and inflation. People are moving to places like Puerto Vallarta where their fixed incomes stretch further because they're not paying as much for the basic necessities, are not being hit by rising costs that they cannot avoid, especially property taxes. Living well for less is an enticement for many foreigners to move to Puerto Vallarta. You'll be pleased by Puerto Vallarta's low cost of living. Most goods and services are less expensive in Mexico than in the US or Canada. Everything from rents and real estate to healthcare and groceries are much cheaper here. Additional savings are available to legal residents aged 60 or older through the INAPAM program, which gives seniors discounts on transportation, medical and prescription costs, utilities, taxes, and more. Mexico in general offers a lower cost of living, and even though Puerto Vallarta is a tourist spot, it does as well. Let's say a typical retired couple could budget under $3,000 for a month's expenses. You can take a look at this video on my channel for more detailed information on the cost of living here in Puerto Vallarta. So these are the 7 key reasons expats have told me they moved to our incredible neck of the woods, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you gleaned some valuable information from it. Remember, whether you're thinking about moving in 9 days, 90 days, or 9 months or more, feel free to call, text, or email me. I'm happy to help you make that smooth move to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So until next time, we hope to show you around town.